When developing web or mobile applications, most of the time we need a dynamic storage of file, pictures and assets, such as user-uploaded photos. Traditionally, AWS S3 has been the go-to solution for object storage, setting the standards with features like buckets, access policies and versioning. However, relying solely on AWS S3 presents two significant drawbacks. Firstly, it's proprietary software, meaning your files aren't hosted on your servers. If AWS were to shut down or significantly raise prices, your project could be at risk. Secondly, its performance can be suboptimal. While cost-effective, accessing files can sometimes incur delays of several hundred milliseconds. A free and open-source solution designed to address these shortcomings exists, and its name is MinIO. MinIO allows you to host your objects on your own servers, providing high performance and greater control over your data. Being S3 compatible, it seamlessly integrates with existing AWS S3 SDKs, enabling you to perform the same actions with identical functionality. This compatibility makes it an ideal choice for project migration, ensuring continuity while keeping your files securely under your own management. Before diving into the platform overview, let's see the different options available to install it. You can install it on your own server, following MinIO documentation, or use a platform like ours to take care of the installation, backup, updates and maintenance for you on the cloud provider of your choice or your existing servers. To install MinIO on our platform, go to Elestio, hit login, click on Deploy my first service, search for MinIO, hit select, choose your cloud provider. I will choose Scaleway. You have the choice between different regions. Both differ between the different cloud providers. I will keep France. Choose your service plan, which is mainly the CPU and RAM you need. You can adjust the disk storage. For this program, it can be very useful based on what you need. I will keep the 20 GB and hit next. Adjust the level of support based on your need. I will keep the included one and then hit create service. When the installation is finished, you receive an email. You can click here to get the password. It's redirecting us on Elestio on our administration dashboard. Click here to copy the password to the clipboard and access our instance by clicking here. Now we arrive on MinIO. Our username is root by default and the password, we just have to paste it. Now we can hit login. We arrive on that nice user interface from MinIO. Based on your preference, you can enable or disable dark mode. I will keep the light mode. And the first thing it's advising us to do is to create a bucket. I think it's a good idea, let's do it. Because it is S3 compatible, it is the same principle that you have when creating a bucket for AWS S3. You have useful information on the right, but first let's choose a bucket name. Let's name it Demo Assets. And we have three features we can enable. So versioning, we will enable it. It allows us to keep multiple versions of the same object under the same key. What it means is if you upload the same file at the same location, it will store for a while the older versions, and then you can restore older versions if it was a mistake or if you prefer using the previous one. So it's non-destructive of the past uploads. When using it, you can exclude folders or prefixes, so it won't activate versioning on everything because it can take space to store all versions, and for some use case, you don't need it. But let's keep the default one included for everything. Then you have object locking to prevent objects from being deleted, but we don't need it. You can add quota to limit the amount of data in the bucket. For example, you host a website or any platform using MinIO storage for one of your customers, and you want to say, okay, you only have access to 5 GB. So you add the quota, and then you restrict the space it has. And you also have retention to impose rule to prevent object deletion for a period of time. But let's keep only versioning and create our bucket. Now our bucket is created. We have the date, the storage used, and the number of objects. Currently it's empty, and the default access we have currently are read and write. Let's go to our bucket. Before doing any setup here, let's upload some content to our bucket. So browse bucket, and then we can drag and drop files or use the upload button. You have the choice between uploading file or complete folders. Let's just upload file for the moment. I found some pictures on Pexels. Let's upload those 2 pictures. You can see it's uploading here. You have the nice UI. When it's over, it's listed automatically here. You can click on a file and have different actions on it, either download, share, preview. But let's have a look if we do just a preview. it won't work by default, or if we use the download link. You can see we have an error. This is because our bucket is currently private, which means we can't just open files. Let's use the share button. It allows us to create signed URL, as you would do using AWS S3 on private buckets. What it means is it generates the whole URL, but let's copy it. We paste it and we have our image loaded here. So we have the path to our image, but we also have additional URL parameters that are the signature telling us we are allowed to open that file. Without it, it says access denied because our bucket is not public and we needed that authorization key to be able to do it. Don't worry, we will see after how to make our whole bucket public if we want to, but in some cases you don't want and you don't need to. The user interface is quite nice compared to if you are a user of AWS S3. You can create folder manually here. For example, let's say sub picture. Let's create it. And it's creating a folder. While in S3 it doesn't exist. You have to upload a file in a subfolder, but it's not really a folder. Let's upload content inside. We have our last picture here. Let's upload it. And now we have that picture. We can use the share tool again to see it. And we have our picture. Let's see how the versioning works. I've found that website to just convert an image into black and white. Let's do it on the last picture. Okay, convert image and download. Now, okay, upload file. And let's upload the updated version, which is in black and white. Click open. Now you can see you have the upload done. Now we can click on display object versions and you can see the different version of the file. So we have the version 1, which is 800 kilobytes. And then we have the black and white version, which is 1 megabyte. And we can do the same action, preview, download, share, or restore to that version. So we can keep track of what we did and restore if we need. Perfect. This bucket, it was private and it was for assets. You need to use authorization key to access to it. But let's create another bucket to host a website. So let's create it, name it demo website, and create bucket. Go to demo website. And this time we want it to be public. So it's accessible because it's hosting a static website. So access policy, we can edit. By default, it's private, but we can make it public or even custom if we want to define specific rules. We will see it later. So public, set, and now we can go browse buckets and upload the content of our website. So this time we will do upload folder. I select the dist folder of a project I made. I click upload. So this is the build it contains. It's asking me confirmation before uploading 41 files. Click on upload. Here you can see all the files are uploaded. It's inside the dist folder. We can go and browse the content. The entry point is the index.html. Let's click on share, copy the URL, and it's opening our website completely loaded from MinIO. So for hosting static websites, it's ideal. You can connect a domain name or use a CDN and you're ready to go. Here you can see we used a signed URL, but you don't need it because now the bucket is public. So it's not mandatory. It won't say access denied. Let's talk a bit more about the policies. So if we go back to our bucket, go to demo website, you can see we attach the public access key. So if we go here into access, we can see everything that is possible to do on this bucket and which users are attached to it, but currently it has none, so it just reacts to the global policies. And you can click on one of the policies, so you will see it will switch us here into policies, and you have the detail of what it does. So it is the real action of S3, get bucket location, get object on every bucket. Then you can see the row policy in JSON here. You have the equivalent of I am on AWS with identity. You can create different users. Here you can create a user, add a username, admin2. You can add a password to it and select the different policies it has access to. Let's check everything. Save. And we have our user here available. And we can attach policies to our user. assign policies, but currently we didn't create other additional ones, so we only have the default ones. By creating the user password, they can log in into MinIO, but you can also create service keys. So here, create an access key. So programmatically, this user will be able to execute action, for example, in a backend. You have the access and secret key. I can show it to you. I will delete that instance. And you can add an expiry date. So it will work until that date, or you don't do it so it's lifetime until you revoke the access. You can name it project X keys, add a description, comment, and create your access key. You won't be able to see the secret key anymore, so you really have to copy it or download it into a file. And now it's created. You can use it inside your project. If you go to service account, you can see it. And if at any time you want to revoke the access, you delete it and it won't have access anymore to it. Or because this one is attached to one user, you can disable the user or delete it. You can create access key per user, but you can also create global access key. Let's create one. It's the same process, global everything. Let's create it. Again, you have the secret key you have to copy before you won't be able to see it anymore. Let's edit it. And you can see that here you can edit the access key policy, but it's the JSON part. So you can't just browse the different policies you have. So if you need to edit the policy, first you can go into the policies, open the policy you want to attach, go to row policy, copy it, and create in your access key the desired policy you want to attach to it. Let's go back to Object Browser, and you can see all our buckets in one place with the number of objects and the size it's using, and what are the different access available for this bucket. So read and write for me. We can have more detail about it if we go to demo website, maybe this way by going to bucket, demo website. Here we have more information. We can enable encryption, change the quota that we disabled at the very beginning. You can subscribe to events, but to understand it better, let's go to the Events tab, add event destination. And here, what it means to have events when using object storage, it's when a file will be uploaded, updated, or deleted, you can perform actions. For example, you have some Redis cache attached to one file. You can do that when the file is updated. It will clear the key for the Redis cache, so you always have the fresh file, and the cache is only reset when the file really changed, so it's a very powerful way to do some caching. Or you can have, for example, in the database, to attach the path of the file to any column in a user or to update the date of the last update of a user. And then you can also connect, a webhook. For example, you upload a picture, then you will call a webhook. So the image will be processed, it will generate the thumbnail, it will do color grading on it, and everything by connecting events to your objects. To know what is going on your MinIO instance, you can go to monitoring, go to metrics, and you have a global report of everything, the number of buckets, the total number of objects. If you are using multiple instances and replicas, you can see the different number of servers and drives, because one of the main benefits of MinIO is it makes it easily possible to create scalable object storage, so you can add more instances and increase your drives and speed, and increase your drive storage and do some replica and backups. You can see the reported usage. Then if you scroll down, you can see that for this drive, we have a capacity of 18 gigabytes. 5 has been used. I guess it's the system and the installation of MinIO. And you have 13 gigabytes available here. You have other advanced features to see the logs, the audit, but you can check the documentation for it to enable some advanced feature of logging on your MinIO instance. Now let's dive into another feature. It's named the tiering. A tier, it allows to create rules based on the time and date of the expiry of object. What it means is, for example, you have files that your user uploads for verification. And when they upload it, you would have to manually delete them at one point when they are treated or after a number of days. Instead of doing it manually in your code, you can create a tier saying after 7 days, those files will be automatically deleted from your server. So you don't have to take care of it programmatically, but it's just global global configuration on your instance. And as we've seen during the monitoring part, you can enable site replication to create clusters of MinIO and expand your storage and backups, which is ideal when you need to scale. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. If it's the case, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel be more visible to other open source software lovers. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss our upcoming videos. Until next week's platform overview, you can watch one of our existing content like this video, available here.